I'm a huge wrestling fan, all right? And something that I love probably more than watching wrestling is playing wrestling video games. Hi there. So, I usually don't do a lot of these just stare at the camera and talk sort of affairs, but I thought that this would actually be a good time to do so. This also is going to be kind of unscripted, so there's going to be a lot of cuts and I'll probably ramble. But I want to talk about WWE 2k22. So the reveal trailer for WWE 2k22 just released yesterday of when I'm recording this, and it looks really good. And I think it is going to be really good. But this game needs to be good. We need good wrestling games. And I don't mean strictly in graphics. It's nice to have really, really, really good graphics. But more than anything, I think as a fan base, wrestling games offer a lot of people like me who will never step into a ring to be able to live some of that out. And that's incredibly important because I might not ever be in that ring. I will most likely never make that leap. But I can do it in the games. And not only that, but there are going to be people who play these games, and there are people who played these games, who grew up playing Here Comes the Pain, Shut Your Mouth, SVR, literally any of them. There are people who, that is how they started in like loving wrestling. Probably one of my favorite experiences in terms of like the world of wrestling was me playing with my friends in Here Comes the Pain or in any of the SmackDown versus Raw games. I believe it was WWE2k. I want to say it was maybe 2K17, playing with my friend Jose online. And we would have these spectacular matches full of a bunch of reversals, mid reversals. I'm assuming those were in that year. I don't remember which game it was. But and having these like stellar matches with great finishes and all this drama. And honestly, I'll never be able to do that in real life, but I can do it in the games. And that keeps that love of wrestling alive. And honestly, I think makes people better wrestling fans. Because when you can have good matches in a game, you then can recognize better matches in real life. Because you have some kind of mind for sequences and for the pace of like a match. To me, good wrestling games makes you a better viewer of wrestling. I didn't get into watching wrestling by flipping through my television and landing on whatever channel Raw or SmackDown was on at the time. I got into wrestling by going over to my friend's house and playing SmackDown Here Comes the Pain. And if you know SmackDown Here Comes the Pain, then you will understand how that hooked me so much. I probably played that game story mode more than any other story mode. SmackDown Here Comes the Pain is easily one of the most significant games in my gaming history, and it's in my wrestling history. First wrestler I ever played with was Rey Mysterio. So in 2000, I don't know, maybe around 2006, 2007, I stopped watching wrestling for probably about maybe 4 or 5 years or something like that. There was a good amount of time in like 2007 to maybe 2010 where I didn't watch I watched maybe a few episodes of Raw or SmackDown, but I kept playing the games, and the games kept that love of wrestling still burning inside of me. And I know that there are going to be people who will say there are other wrestling games out there, but I want to talk strictly the WWE franchise because, quite frankly, it's the one that a majority of wrestling fans are going to be playing. I've been playing 2K20 for the last 2 years pretty consistently, and I've been kind of gritting my teeth. I turn entrances off because the game literally can't load entrances. Like, there are There are pinning glitches. There's a lot wrong in that game. You know, the creation suite and the community creations is probably the thing that'll keep even the bad wrestling games alive. Wrestling as an art form, it is a bit of theater. It is creative athleticism. It is a showcase. But the thing that it is more than anything, in my opinion, is a creative space. There are going to be people who say, I play, you know, wrestling games for the wrestling, and you know, I do too. But what I would ask people is, how much time do you spend on the creation suite? How much time are you spending creating arenas, you know, importing logos, creating superstars, creating movesets? But I can almost guarantee you a vast majority of it is spent making creative wrestlers. And that is so helpful for, I think, the medium of wrestling. And we just kind of need that back in a non-glitchy form. How many people dream up gimmicks, try them out in the games, mess around, and we end up with characters in real life? People who have ideas in these games when are their outlet to test those ideas, to flesh those ideas out. I have no doubt that there are wrestlers right now in AEW and WWE and NXT, NXT UK, any of them, that started out as wrestling games fans. And, you know, whether it be Fire Pro, that I'm not very good at, but I do really appreciate, or if it's one of the WWE franchises, or if you played one of the New Japan games from back in the early 2000s, like, we need good wrestling games. After seeing more of a trailer and more footage, I just want to say to the devs working on it, I really hope this is good. If it does hit different, then thank you. Whether you prefer the arcade style or prefer the sim style, I think at the end of the day, good wrestling games makes for good wrestling. Better wrestling games makes for better wrestling. You know, the last couple of years have been really, really good for wrestling fans. And I think the games are about to catch up. So that's my spiel. This was a short one today. Here's to good vibes and hope. And yeah, see you for the next one.